Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity Yoga. It's been a while again. I haven't been quite committed to this videotaping as I am to other things that I'm doing over the course of the last few months. I've been busy and dealing with lots of things. I am actually writing 3 books, so I'm kind of taking my focus, 3 books related to what I'm doing in my little tutoring job. So I wanted to get those done before my tutoring experience is ended for the year, possibly forever, which will be on the end of this week. So I've been kind of rushing to get those done and have not been coming here or doing the other things I used to like to do. So regardless of that, I am here now. So I am going to pull a question from the jar. It's been a while. I have no idea what's in here. So let's hope I'm able to answer a question or two. Not that I've ever answered them to everybody's full like. Okay, I'm going to answer this one, which is a good one. I'm going to set my timer. It's funny I got this. That's what I've been thinking about. Taking a deep breath and out. This is really ironic. This is like serendipity at its best. Are you awakened? What does it feel like to be awakened? And I've been writing a lot about this lately and thinking a lot about this lately, so it is more than serendipitous that I picked up that question. Asking me if I'm awakened and what it feels like to be awakened or enlightened. And the answer to that is no, I am definitely not awakened. I am definitely not at the full level of evolution that we can get in consciousness as a human being. Far, far from it. I am just stretching and yawning in the baby steps of this process. I do believe that I have come very, very far, though, if we want to look in terms of distance, which probably is oxymoronish in a sense when it comes to understanding the spiritual process. It's all about being here and now and eliminating distance and doing. But I say with all truth and validity that I have come a long way. I have progressed quite a bit in this awakening process. Why? Because I have developed a willingness and a desire. Again, use the word desire cautiously when we're talking about the spiritual process, but I have a willingness and a desire to awaken. My desire to awaken is purely selfish, in many, many ways. I want to end suffering in myself, and I see now that the only way to end suffering is to go through it, to go through that which I have been avoiding my whole life, that I've been stuffing and storing inside me so that I didn't have to deal with it on the conscious level. I now have to go through that in order to be awakened. So awakening to me is a process of purification, as the yogis would say, a removing of all that samskara layer that's in the way of us experiencing who we truly are. I had a meditation experience about 4 months ago. Maybe I'm wrong in the length of that. I have no concept of time lately. That is something that happens as we go on this journey. We lose concept of time. But I had a meditation experience where I visualized so clearly, and I don't know why, this tunnel, this long tunnel in my body, in my mind, in my sense of being, be my ethereal body or my physical body, I'm not sure. And it was covered in shale rock. But underneath the shale rock, there was this light emerging. And I could hear in my meditation, of course, it was not any woo-woo stuff. It was just something almost like a dream. I could hear the sounding of this whirlpool of energy on the other side of the rock, like below the rock formations that were blocking them. I could hear this pushing, it's almost like a turbulent water flow pushing against the rocks, trying to move the rocks up and out of me. And there were these cracks in the rocks where this amazing light was coming through. And I realized I had spent my entire life up until that point thinking that the light was coming from the outside, thinking that any bit of happiness or peace or joy I might have had over my life was coming from out there, what I could get from the outside world, what I could avoid from the outside world, rather than coming from inside me. So in this meditation experience, I realized the light was coming from me beneath this rock layer. But there was a large amount of rocks piled on top of that light. So as the energy beneath it, which is light and water, or whatever you want to say, it's a flow, was pushing the rock piles up, all the stuff I buried on top of it, my samskaras, those painful impressions, those experiences I've had that I had the hard time dealing with. So I pushed or suppressed the emotional energy down, denied it, avoided it. All that was stuffed inside of this. So this turbulent energy, what felt like turbulent energy, emotional energy, was just trying to push that up and away, rock layer by rock layer. And the light was able, everything that was able to release, the light was coming through in cracks. So the whole process then of awakening, as far as I'm seeing now, is to allow this to do its job, to allow the turbulent energy flow to come up, to push the samskaras up, the light to come up, because we are that flow and that light, that precious energy, that Shakti, Satchidananda, that is inside us. We are that, and we have just buried these samskaras over it. And the samskaras, of course, are our psyche, the sum of all our learned events, this little me we think we are. And we are not this me, but we've come to believe it because we were pulled down to the samskara layer, and our whole goal was to protect this, to keep this down so it didn't come up and we wouldn't have to experience those painful experiences, so that we could recapture those wonderful experiences that we spent our lives clinging to. Just to realize to just let it all go. Just let it go. And it is important that we let things go. It is important that we purify and get rid of those rock layers so that we're not clinging, because underneath it is who we are. We as a family have experienced a trauma several months ago. We were viciously attacked by someone who had a psychotic breakdown. And though we've forgiven the individual, knowing that it was beyond their control, we do have a no contact order, we are protecting ourselves. Everybody still had a lot of trauma related to that. They had a reactivation of that experience this weekend, and a couple of the individuals and I started talking about it yesterday. And they were having such a hard time with it because they had repressed and suppressed that trauma experience inside them, and they were very upset. And they were upset with the way I was approaching it, because I let it go. I completely let it go. I have compassion for the individual who committed the crime, and I feel bad that he's now pressing, not the repressed charges, but charges are being pressed against him because we had to get a no contact order, and by filing that, it instigated the law to take over. So I was expressing my compassion for this individual and his unconsciousness, and was hoping the best for them. And my children were devastated that I had that sense of compassion for this individual, and that I wasn't reacting in the same way they were, and I wasn't validating their experience enough. And it was only because I realized at that point that I had completely let that go. I no longer stuff and store a lot of the big stuff inside me anymore. I am able to process it through. I'm allowed to let it come into my experience, and I'm allowing it to go out of my experience. And that, to me, is an amazing step forward in the awakening process. It by no means says that I'm awakened, but it does say that I am getting there. And this, of course, was very challenging for my children to see me at that level. They wanted me at their level where I could empathize and can validate. And though I do understand that they are where they're at, and I feel great compassion for them being where they're at, I'm just not there. So that told me that I was, not that I'm on a spiritual high horse here, saying that, I'm so much more spiritual. Well, we're all where we're at. I just happened to see the effect of my practice during the experience of talking to these individuals about a past trauma yesterday. So that part I can say, yes, I have awakened to some degree, but I am not awakened. So getting back to what does that feel like to be awakened, it is that sense of peace. I mean, if I'm just getting a bit of peace after this trauma and I'm feeling like I'm not connected or not bothered by it, where as before it would have been, nightmarish as it is for these individuals in my house, it's just no big deal. And it's like, it's just amazing. So if we can get to that state of peace, where we're not disturbed by what life gives us, we're not stuffing and storing what life gives us, we're not creating more of that rock pile on top of our Shakti flow, then we are in the process of awakening. We are a little freer than we were when we were clinging and when we were averting from that which was not pleasant. So that, in a sense, is just a tip of what the experience of awakening could be like. To be able to be free of our clinging and our disturbance, our disturbed reaction to life. So that, in a sense, is one of the, to me, is a great indication of the awakening process, and that we are awakening is when we're able to detach from light circumstance and to allow this rock pile of samskaras to raise to the surface, knowing that as every layer comes up, it's going to be painful. What we store with pain is going to come up with pain. But instead of having this natural inclination of resisting it that we do when we are not in the awakening process, of pushing it back down so we don't have to experience it, instead, if we just have that willingness to allow it to come up, knowing we'll be pain, go through the pain, allow it all to flow through, then eventually we don't have to do anything about this rock layer. We just have to stop piling on top of it, right? Stop taking the experiences that are coming at us every day and piling them on top. Instead of resisting life, just allowing life, doing what we can about it, but not worrying too much about it, not being too attached to it. Then that will help. These samskara layers will come up on their own, they will come out on their own, and with every layer of rock pile that comes up, we're going to see more light, more flow coming up through the rock pile. So allow the turbulent energy, the emotional energy that's inside us to be as it is, because it is doing something. Allow life to do what it's doing, because every trigger we have out there is helping to stimulate this, push it up so that it can be released. All of life is just meant to flow through us. Just like we are filters. It comes in, we experience it, it flows out. Now this is the other experience I've had as far as awakening goes, and I know I'm over my time. I can hear my little wrist thing going up, but I want to share this. The other experience I had was I was meditating one day, and I referred to myself as this human. Instead of me and what I'm going through, look what this human has gone through. Look what this human is going through. Look how this human is thinking and feeling. Look at how this human is reacting to life, or has reacted to life. And I had the greatest compassion for this human, but at the same time, I was detached from that human and that human's experiencing, knowing that I was the observer watching the human. Now this human, this form, this mind, this body, this tendency we have to store and stuff is all a part of being human. It's a part of our experience here, but it's like a spacesuit we're wearing while we're here on this planet. Where would we be without it? We need it to walk around and see this and experience that. But when we realize it's a spacesuit and that we're inside it, if I dare use those dualistic terms of inside and outside, but for now I will. If we're inside it, using it to experience life through, then it's like, wow, I'm not hurt when the human gets hurt. I'm not reacting as the human is reacting. I'm focusing on the human maybe and their dramas and their little meanness. But when I step back and watch the human, this human that I would normally call me or I, process through life, there's a distance created. But at the same time, there is this compassion and this reverence for this spacesuit, this human. And I am amazed by it. And I'm amazed by the experiences it is going through. And I'm amazed by life in general, because I'm thinking, wow, these amazing things happen. And some people may call them traumatic or whatever. And I'm like, wow, look at that. Look what this human is going through. Look what this human has gone through. And it's just changed my perspective. So though I am far from awakened, I am no Yogananda. I'm definitely no Jesus Christ or no Buddha. I am no anybody that has reached that level of awareness, that I am just simply learning and awakening and enjoying the awakening process. And I see there's a little less suffering, which was my goal, was to end suffering. A little less suffering every time. Sure, there's momentary suffering when the samskaras come up and I realize, oh my gosh, look what I'm feeling. Look what this human is feeling because of what this human has gone through in the past. Wow. All a part of the process. All a part of this thing we call life. So no, I'm not awakened, but I am awakening, and I hope that everybody on this planet will begin the awakening process to help alleviate the suffering that's going on in this world. And I cannot alleviate anybody else's suffering. I can alleviate my own and hope that by so doing, I will be in a position of purity where I'm better able to be there for others in a way that truly, truly matters. So I'm awakening, and I hope you are too. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time. Namaste.